and welcome to The Studio Demands It, an exercise in creative thinking where we will conceptualize, pitch, and craft a film or series based on the demands from one of you listeners acting as a hypothetical Hollywood overlord.
Listeners!
As professional screenwriters ourselves and massive cinephiles, we talk movies all the time.
Movies!
And we'd like to believe that we can meet any demand thrown at us. We will be your screenwriters for this episode. I am TC DeWitt, and joining me, as always, is Jim Unhappy Hour Brzelik.
Oh,
hello, Jim.
hello.
This will not be an unhappy hour.
No.
This will not be an unhappy hour.
No, what that goes back to is we had dinner, and the place we went to had a happy hour menu, but there was a happy hour from 3 to 7 and another from 9 to midnight.
Right.
And TC had the brilliant idea.
I'm a marketing genius.
Why do this? Why have two of these when you could just have one unhappy hour and advertise the middle? Don't come here.
Don't come here.
Don't come here to between 7 and 9.
It is an unhappy place. Sometimes you don't want to go where no one knows your name. I think it's a hangry thing. I think it's just, I don't know. I'd like to think I have a lot of patience, but I do not have patience to be sat in a restaurant and wait 20 minutes just for a soda.
Yeah.
Like,
the drinks took a while.
Oh my God. Like, by the time we got up, left, and found a new place, our food might have arrived by the time we got there. Oh my gosh. But, a good happy hour price. Kind of hard. It's kind of hard not to be tempted by it.
We were not there during the happy hour.
No, we were there during the unhappy hour. You seem way chiller about it because when we were driving from A to B, you were like, oh, God, get out of my way. I'm trying to get the food here.
Well, I was hungry. I was very hungry, and now that we were no longer seated and we had to go to another place, I was now hangry.
Where did the word hangry come from?
30 Rock.
Is it from 30 Rock?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, congratulations, Liz Lemon. Thank you for being my secretary. It's happy hour is a ubiquitous term for like a discount time at a restaurant or a bar, right? But
yeah, well, and you know why? It's because those are the down hours.
The down hours, okay.
Not as many people show up at those times, so let's discount the food. Let's call it happy hour.
But sometimes it's more than an hour.
Yes.
Then it's happy hours.
Rush hour is more than an hour.
Rush hours. It used to just be an hour, Jim. Man, the daily grind used to be a lot easier. You'd hit the road. There'd only be 4 lanes, not 8.
Sometimes words are used to describe things that aren't precise.
That's pretty bad.
It sure
is.
Scapegoat isn't always a goat.
What?
And you don't really escape? You just blame.
You blame something else. Wait. You think it's scapegoat?
What do you think it is?
Scapegoat.
Yeah, okay.
You think it's a scapegoat?
No, I know it's scapegoat.
I don't know. You said
what do you think scape is short for?
Like a landscape and a
landscape goat.
Wow, the condescension.
It was, but now I'm thinking about why is it called a landscape? It's not a land escape.
Yeah.
Escape is a
words. Words can mean other things.
No, they can't.
That's bad.
That's pretty bad.
That's pretty bad.
It's all circles here, folks.
Jim,
it's all
our
circles
listeners
Studio Demands
have given us demands from studios literally all over the world, and you listening now, you can send us any demand you'd like, and we will have to meet it right here on the spot. And when we reach the end of this episode, if we've done our jobs, we will have pitched a full script and story meeting, or even exceeding those demands. And when the end of the season comes, your demand could have helped us craft the script that will be greenlit by the fans for our full produced finale. Thanks to everyone who keeps submitting. Please keep them coming, because you never know when your demand might actually make it onto the show, like the one we have today. Jim, are you ready?
No.
You're not?
No, I'm still thinking about Scape.
Scapegoat. Well, while you're doing that, I'm going to give you the demand from D. Bird Washington at Tin Cup Studios. Okay.
Never saw Tin Cup.
Yeah, it's a Kevin Costner golf movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rene Russo, Cheech Marin.
Yep.
I've never seen it either. D-Bird. D-Bird says, Disney continues to adapt their animated films into live action films. 25 on the books so far. Is that true? They've done 25? There's 25 Disney animated to live action adaptations?
I don't know. We could count them.
We could. I'm not going to do it off the top of my head. I will look up the Google on it, but I'll take Dee's word for it. 25 on the books so far. They make money, and people are dumb enough to keep paying to see them. Oh, boy. And it doesn't appear that they care to make any grand interpretations of the works. Just do what already worked with new high tech. Yeah, just remake the movie as it goes. How dull. I agree, D. But they aren't averse, I think that's spelled wrong, to new takes. I didn't have to point that out.
No, you didn't.
They aren't averse
Scapegoat.
to new takes on classic fairy tales. The Princess and the Frog from 2009 wasn't a one-for-one adaptation of The Frog Prince. That's true. It's also not a remake yet, but maybe it will be. The Sorcerer's Apprentice with Nick Cage and Jay Baruchel was a modern take on the period.
Oh, that means we're counting those in the 25.
Yeah.
I didn't think to count Sorcerer's Apprentice. I always thought of Sorcerer's Apprentice more in the vein of Pirates of the Caribbean and
adapting a ride.
Yeah.
No,
which I know Sorcerer's Apprentice isn't a ride, but yeah, that was my imagining of it.
If Dee's counting it, so D says, and The Sorcerer's Apprentice was a modern take on the period cartoon. It shows that the mouse will occasionally allow their filmmakers to take one of their tales and make it their own. So it is possible to adapt a 100-year-old fairy tale and make it good. And it is possible to make a good live-action remake of it. What are you getting at? What is this? Okay, here we go. My studio. I know it's going to say it right there. Reading. It's just a very long prologue. My studio demands,
which we like.
I know. What am I complaining about? I'm hangry. Scapegoat. D. Sorry. My studio demands you take one of the less adapted Grimm or Andersen tales and do two things.
Okay.
First, place it in the Disney animated pantheon somewhere in the past. Holy shit.
Okay.
Then do a live action adaptation of it for a modern audience. Whoa.
Okay.
All right. So thank you, D. That's amazing. That's a great demand. Okay. So we have to think of...
I choose Mothership Space Goose.
Yes.
It was originally made in the 80s. And we are now making a live action remake.
Have you guys not seen Mothership Space Goose?
Mothership Space Goose? Classic Grimm fairy tale.
So good. We have to come up with an underused Grimm fairy tale or Hans Christian Andersen tale and imagine it placed somewhere in the Disney library. Okay, cool. And then we get to do a live action adaptation of this. Okay. All right. Hans Christian Andersen wrote about 300 and the Brothers Grimm.
So this shouldn't be hard.
You would think so, but that means we have to pull off the top of our head some of the movies that haven't been done by Disney yet. And honestly, of the 60 plus, they have the 65, 66 or so, there aren't, I'd say not even half of those are fairy tales from the Grimms or Hans Christian Andersen. I'll look it up, but what do you think of that? That's a great demand.
That is.
Disney animated.
That is a really good demand.
So now we're gonna. Luckily, I got so many fables stuck in my head from the comic that I could probably think of a few. But looking at the library of Disney films we have, obviously Snow White started it all. Honestly, we picked this because the new Snow White live action remake is hitting theaters this now, and so I wanted to find a demand that had something Disney related into it, keyworded it, and this is what we got. So. Okay. Do any of the animated, or any of the fairy tales pop in your head that you're like, we should do those?
I am chagrined to say most of my thorough knowledge of the fairy tales comes from the Disney movies. Mm-hmm. So while I could name other fairy tales that would come from these collected works.
Right.
I don't know the details of them. Like Boy Blue. I don't know the details of Boy Blue's story.
Well, Boy Blue, like Little Boy Blue, Go Blow Your Horn is just a nursery rhyme. It wasn't like a full story because the original version of Boy Blue is he's a boy who falls asleep. under a haystack,
Mm-hmm.
and the sheep are out in the meadow. Little boy blue, come blow your horn. The sheep are in the meadow. The cows in the corn, and that's it. He's under the haystack and he fell asleep.
Sure.
That's I don't even know. I don't think that's Hans Christian. I think that might just be like an older.
Okay.
Before the Grimms, and because the Grimms collected fairy tales. They went across Europe.
Oh, and Andersen wrote them?
And Andersen came up with them.
Oh.
I might be giving him too much credit. There's certainly folklore.
I thought they both collected them. Hans Christian Andersen might have put his spin on them. I do know there was a difference like that. What wasn't Grimm's story? The Grimm's fairy tales were were darker because they came from Eastern Europe.
Yeah,
where they were all lessons about children not messing around, otherwise, lest they lose their fingers and
get kidnapped by. That's something when people talk about the Disneyfication of stories, I always go back to the point of they're trying to entertain people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you want a 1-for-1 adaptation of Little Mermaid?
Some people do.
Good, because those tales were created as parables, as
mm-hmm.
warnings. Yeah. They weren't made to entertain children. They were made to keep them scared.
Terrify them.
Don't leave the barn. Blow your horn, little boy. Andersen was Hans Christian Andersen was more known for inventing the fairy tales rather than collecting them, which is what the Brothers Grimm did.
Mm-hmm.
Brothers Grimm did, if I remember my literary history. I'm trying to find I know there's a great list of the Disney. I probably should be. We should thinking of fairy tales, because if we name one that's already been done, I'll just go, yeah, that's Cinderella, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, the Ice Queen, which is Frozen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to do it off the top of my head, but so you went to Boy Blue first.
Well, I went to where you did Fable, the comic book Fables, which just basically you just start going through the Rolodex of characters and which story are they from. And he's a more pivotal character and one that hasn't been in a Disney movie.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that's the reason I used him as an example of I don't know if this is a good
thinking of
choice.
Some Disney history. The first one he wanted to do, Walt wanted to do the Snow Queen, the Ice Queen, Snow Queen.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to do Alice in Wonderland, because the first animation he did were his Alice cartoons. Now, the demand said fairy tale. So where are we drawing the line on fairy tales? For example, Pinocchio is a children's story of yesteryear, but it's not a Hans Christian Andersen story, and it's not a Brothers Grimm. Right.
Is it considered a fairy tale?
Yeah.
I was actually recently doing research on Pinocchio. It was written in the late 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about or at least I think critics say, or it actually is about the unification of Italy at the time.
Well, it's
but it is set in it's set as a medieval story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a novel. It's not a story. It's not a story. It's a novel. So the reason I asked that is
novels are stories.
Yeah, I know. The works of Brothers Grimm and Hans Christian Andersen are very, very digestible, which is why they have hundreds of them. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and then looking at the library of the animated films from Snow White on, they did Cinderella as a way to go, hey, let's do another princess because that made us all the money. And then moving on from there, they did the same thing by doing Sleeping Beauty.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm trying to think of, then
Little Mermaid. So looking
Little Mermaid.
at the lists, the first one that I see that would kind of fit the Disney mold,
mm-hmm.
But hasn't been done.
Yeah,
Rumpelstiltskin.
Now I am a fan. I will acknowledge that Rumpelstiltskin is the villain in the Puss in Boots movie, but those movies are those are
DreamWorks movies,
and also far from the source material.
Sure. I mean, Rumpelstiltskin is also the villain in the ABC TV show Once Upon a Time.
Listen, we don't talk about that show on this podcast, Jim. You know I have feelings about that show. Go listen to my Fables episode. Okay, so Rumpelstiltskin as a centralized character. Now, are you suggesting we find?
I was not suggesting him as the central character. That's the traditional name of the story.
Right.
That doesn't mean we couldn't name it something else. Rapunzel isn't called Rapunzel. Rapunzel's called Tangled.
Sure. Yeah. You know why they did that?
Why did they do that?
They found they could appeal more to boys if they didn't put the princess's name in the title.
Interesting.
Yeah, and also Tangled is one of the top 10. It's one of the GOAT animated Disney movies.
I don't know that I would... Actually, even if it's called Rumpelstiltskin, I wouldn't make him the main character. I would make it the
Miller's daughter.
Yeah.
Because Rumpelstiltskin
it would be a princess movie.
Yeah.
Well, so I would want to make it a princess movie, and that would set it... That essentially sets it in... It would most comfortably be in one of 3 eras then.
Okay. Yes, I forgot that's part of the demand.
Yeah.
So we have Golden Era, Silver Era, Dark Ages, Renaissance, Second Dark Age, Second Renaissance.
All right. You definitely know more. I was basically thinking the bigger era of closer, not quite Snow White, but around Cinderella.
Golden Era. You're talking classic Disney.
Sleeping Beauty era, or the 90s. That
during the Renaissance era. Okay.
Or during the Frozen
Renaissance
Tangled era.
Yeah.
And I say that because in my memory of the breakdown, that those were the big princess eras.
Yes, yeah. Every time Disney animation was floundering, they do a princess movie. It's kind of what it comes down to. It's like starting with Snow White, Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and then when Katzenberg and Eisner took over in the 80s, they did Little Mermaid. They're like, we're doing a princess movie, and we're going to make it a musical.
Now that I say all that out loud, it doesn't have to, like, it could be interesting to set this in the 80s dark era when they didn't have it.
Yeah.
Because calling a movie Rumpelstiltskin and having this little goblin man kind of be this, so that puts it sort of in Disney's more dark, like literally they're taking darker stories.
Yeah.
But then it gives a princess to kind of be the out.
Yeah.
We're rewriting Disney history here.
Well, the place to put that, so Dark Age is roughly with some arguments to be made one way or the other. I'd say Aristocats, Robin Hood, Winnie the Pooh. Then the true Dark Age is The Rescuers, Fox and the Hound, Black Cauldron, and then The Great Mouse Detective. That little window of time from around 77 to 88 is a real low point for those movies. It's competing with Don Bluth. It is the darkest of the movies. Black Cauldron is definitely a cult classic. Did not do well. That's Katzenberg's fault. The Rescuers and Fox and the Hound are kind of nightmare fuel movies. Not necessarily. That might be unfair. They're not nightmare movies like Rats and Nim was.
You're sad.
Yeah, you don't walk away feeling great after watching those 2 movies.
Isn't it great how the Fox and the Hound are friends forever?
So if you're saying that's finding a way to get a princess in that era. Now, Elowine from The Black Cauldron is a princess no one cares about because The Black Cauldron is so oft forgotten. So Rumpelstiltskin as a dark little goblin man who says, I'm going to take your firstborn. Okay, yeah, that feels like an appropriate era for him. But that story, now how do we expand that into a full adventure? Right?
Well, right, because he kidnaps the miller's daughter and makes her spin gold.
No.
And if she can guess his name, she can be free?
No. So there's a miller brags to royalty that his daughter can spin straw into gold. So they kidnap her and they stick her in a room with
royalty
straw.
does. Okay.
The royalty does, and say, do that or we'll kill you. So she begs the winds, and Rumpelstiltskin shows up and says, I can spin straw into gold. I'll do that for you, for your firstborn. And she's just happy to not die that she agrees to it. And he does it for her. And then the royalty's like, she really did it. Do it again. So then she has to keep making a deal with Rumpelstiltskin to spin all this hay into gold. And
further deals.
Yeah.
What else does she What else does she sell?
Just for the firstborn. He just agrees to keep doing it for the firstborn.
Rumpelstiltskin, he's conniving, but he's not very creative. So, give me your firstborn. Okay. Rumpelstiltskin, I need you to do it again. Okay, give me your firstborn.
Yeah.
Didn't you already?
Listen.
Okay.
Jim. It's the art of the deal. So now let me rewind here.
That is exactly. Rumpelstiltskin is our president.
No, keep your politics off my show. The first time he comes, she offers a necklace. Oh yeah, okay.
Rumpelstiltskin. It's right there.
His hair is straw too.
It is.
Oh my god.
Flaxen gold.
The first time he comes, she gives him She gives him her necklace. She doesn't make the firstborn deal. Eventually, he comes back again when she runs out things to negotiate with. Then he offers I'll take your firstborn. She's like, sure, whatever. The prince marries her, and lo and behold, she has a baby, and Rumpelstiltskin shows up to collect. That's your promise. You made the deal. Give me your kid. And she says no, and he says, fine, I'll let you keep your kid if you can guess my name, and you get 3 tries. I'll do it in 3 days. Within 3 days, I'll come back 3 times. If you guess my name, I will let you keep your kid. And then so the miller's daughter, the queen, I guess now, princess, through her cleverness, learns his name, and in a fit of rage, he tears himself apart at the end. So that's the original fable of it, if I'm remembering correctly, and I feel as though I am. So anyone who wants to correct me on the variations of this, there you go.
Well, too bad, because we're already going to change it from that.
Well, yeah, we got to adapt it for Disney. We got to Disney-fy this.
Yeah.
Dark Age Disney-fy it.
Yeah. Well, again, it doesn't have to be set in the Dark Age.
No. I mean the Disney Dark Age.
No, I know. That's.
Okay.
We haven't definitively put it there. We can.
Yeah. Well, let's conceptualize what this could be.
Well, because then also, are we wanting to pull Disney out of the Dark Age with this, or are we setting it there so that it can be forgotten?
If it can be forgotten, it'll become a cult hit likened to Black Cauldron and Treasure Planet.
Just like we're getting the live-action versions of those.
Never will we ever. That's not entirely true. Someone might take a shot on those. Listen, Disney. Disney, are you listening? Do a remastered, re-released theatrical run of Treasure Planet. You will make a mint. I swear to God, the cult success of that, there's an entire generation who loves that movie, who didn't even get to see it in the theaters because it came and went with poor advertising and no faith in the movie. Re-release it for some anniversary edition. I'm telling you, you will make a mint.
You think it has the Clue treatment, or not really treatment? Clue got popular because it was just put on syndication. But it bombed, and then they're like, whatever, throw this at some repeat TV. No one cares.
Shawshank Redemption bombed.
People loved it.
Shawshank Redemption bombed in theaters. People thought it was a religious movie.
Oh, because of Redemption.
Because the title, yeah. And it's one of the most beloved films of the 20th century, 21st century as well. Anyway, off the point.
Okay.
We could make a cult hit here is what I'm saying. But you know what? Let's just come up with the concept of the movie and then determine where it fits nicely into the pantheon.
Okay.
The story as is, Miller's daughter taken by the royalty, stuck in a room, spin straw or I'll kill you. Make a deal with the devil. Let's discuss making him the central character and not a misunderstood character as opposed to an actual villain. I'm not saying I like that because I think Rumpelstiltskin is a nasty little man and should be the bad guy.
And your big criticism of Disney is they have a villain problem?
Oh yes, they do. You're right. What am I doing? Oh my God, I'm them.
You're the baddie.
I'm the baddie. You do the podcast for a while.
You're gonna go think. You're gonna think about things.
I'm gonna eat this nerd cluster.
So I don't think he should be central. I think she should be. Is
she blonde?
Yep. She doesn't have to be, but yeah.
Make her blonde. No, we don't.
I don't care what color hair she has.
This matters.
I will let the art department decide that.
Okay. Go ahead.
I think the question of what Rumpelstiltskin's name is should happen much earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, when he shows up, what's your name? And what should I think? To sort of give us some broad strokes to play with as we go. Mm-hmm. You mentioned the 4 winds. I like that she asked. So, is Rumpelstiltskin the embodiment of those 4 winds?
No, I turned a phrase to call it that.
Okay.
But thank you for that.
So it's just the devil shows up. Okay, that's less interesting.
No, he was the 4 winds.
Well, the first thing I actually thought as you were telling is, what if Rumpelstiltskin is like Puck? He's a fae. He doesn't have to be the devil. But anyway, what if for our broad strokes here? What if he's a guy who likes making deals? Right, he likes making deals and making bets and playing games.
Yeah,
and so that's one of the first things that happens is, can you guess my name? Mm-hmm. Or maybe maybe it even starts that way. Like he shows up, like, I hear you were calling. Mm-hmm. And like, no, she shouldn't start it. He should be the one that starts the games. But when she asks what his name is, what if he promises like that? They're actually that becomes the first bet. If you can guess my name,
mm-hmm. Yeah,
I will give you the kingdom.
Oh yeah.
The very castle you are imprisoned in
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
will be yours. And so every time so now we're following her, trying to figure out his name the best she can. We can give her some animal friend that's maybe trying to help her.
Are we in the animal friends? Go ahead. Yeah.
And so he shows up, and that's sort of one thing they got going. And there could be all of these sorts of things, like either like between trivia and games, like maybe he spins a bit of maybe even before the spinning gold. Basically, right now I'm imagining a little bit sharper teeth version of when Aladdin found the genie.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I don't mind this.
The genie was way more friendly and just happy to be out of the bottle. I'm imagining Rumpelstiltskin. He plays around and he can be as well, no, because he would have to be Robin Williams. No one is as ostentatious as Robin Williams. But he can be kind of grandiose like that. Yeah. Like it is I.
Nah,
you're not getting mine. It's something like that.
He can be bouncing around,
and he has magic, right? Yeah. So he can do zany things.
Having a little animal sidekick or a friend, whether it's animal or not, a friend to, please, I am now trapped in here. You have to find out, or maybe she's not trapped in it, but having like a B plot of a character like in the woods, trying to gather information about Rumpelstiltskin is a fun notion. Like having a B plot of another character doing that, like finding out, hearing stories about Rumpelstiltskin and the deals he's made. It could even allow us artistically to, anytime he hears a story, we get to see it in a slightly different animated style. Like maybe
sure.
Like where when it's the traditional hand drawn Disney animation stuff, but when like tell me your tale over a little campfire or whatever, of like, oh, I've heard of the imp in the woods, the Puck in the woods, and anytime someone shares a tale, oh my god, okay.
Oh, because Rumpelstiltskin can take any form he wants.
Yes, perhaps maybe this isn't going to work. I'm going to throw it out there. The person who's doing the investigating for her to try to help her friend, is a storyteller, like a Brother Grimm kind of thing. Like for example, in Sword of the Stone, Merlin has the whole of history, even knowing the book that will then be written about this very thing. And it's a little bit of that era metaphysical meta comedy. I see what
you're saying.
Yeah.
It doesn't hook me.
Okay, I had a hat on that one where it's just, but it's trying to collect the stories of Rumpelstiltskin to figure out his name.
Sure.
An investigation. It might not be able to be her because she is trapped in
the
castle.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, maybe it could be in.
I'm having the notion that maybe it's that the person who is free and going and trying to research this stuff is her father, the one who got her in prison.
You got me into this mess, yeah.
But I don't that doesn't quite hook me either. So I'm gonna let that whole side thing simmer for now.
Okay.
And I'm imagining.
Let's go back to.
So once the deal is made, right? They have all these little bets and contests going, and the one like the one central one is she needs to spin hay into gold,
straw into gold.
And so Rumpelstiltskin helps out with that, right? Makes that deal, it becomes gold.
Yes.
And so she makes this, gets taken up in front of the terrible king and queen, just king, just queen. Those terrible people.
Yeah.
And they have a son who's not a bad guy, and sees the miller's daughter and is enamored with her. And while they bring the gold, they don't immediately say, "And back to the cell with you." They themselves think that they like her very much. Oh, look at what you did! This is so amazing, wonderful. Yes, please come have dinner with us. Please come. We want you to come to this party we're having, so we can show off the girl who spins gold, and stuff like that. So then we can have some scenes back and forth with her and the prince, and learn stuff from other people. It might be fun if when she's there, she sees other people, other nobles and stuff who have other little Rumpelstiltskins of their own. Maybe that's a bit of it.
Oh,
almost like demons on shoulders.
Okay, I don't know if I love that, but go ahead.
The idea would be either like only she can see them for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So she can kind of I don't know, that's an idea. It doesn't right, more spaghetti for the wall. Wall spaghetti. But either way, right, she gets to go to these parties. We, the audience, get to have a princess, proto-princess, going to parties, meeting a prince.
And not just trapped in a cellar.
Yeah.
Cool.
And maybe he even takes her around town, like, because he likes her, and so he's pseudo-courting her. But at the end of the night, they always come back, and the king and queen always say, "And back to your room," which is...
Your bedroom.
Yeah.
Your glorious
your chambers.
chamber.
Which is her cell.
Yeah.
And
we'll see you in the morning.
This was amazing. And like even do like maybe tricks of wordplay where they're like, imagine what you could do, and they basically trick her into like almost saying, "Oh, I could do twice as much."
Yeah.
Could you?
Okay. I love this. I want to back up all the way to the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
Instead of her first getting the brag, I want to add a beginning to this that gets her to Rumpelstiltskin helping her in the cell. This starts out with her farm and her father being in dire straits, and she calls. Then I'm changing the story a little bit. She makes her first deal with Rumpelstiltskin to help her in one way or another to save the farm. The first time he shows up is, my farm is in trouble, my father's in trouble, I want to do anything I can to save him. He shows up to, "Oh, I heard you calling in the winds. I can help you with a deal. Give me your necklace, and I will save your farm." And so she starts making deals with him there. So then when she's trapped in there in the cell, then she can call out to be like, "Little man, little goblin, help me. Oh, looks like you got yourself in a little bit of trouble. What's going on here? I have to spin straw into hay." "Well, I can do that." "What's it going to cost me?" "Oh, come on. We've made deals before. It's nothing much."
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. So here's why. Here's why I'm not a fan of that. I feel like it sets our main character, our princess. It gives her a pretty unsavory or savory. I mean it in the bad way.
Yeah.
Character flaw. right? That's not a character flaw that can like.
Well, desperation. She made a
No, I
desperate
know,
plea
but-
to please. I just want to save my farm. Like if she's
No,
praying and
sure.
then a devil shows up instead.
Well, so first for that language, I don't want to make Rumpelstiltskin a devil.
Right. Okay. That was the wrong turn of a phrase.
I just want to be clear about that.
Yes. Yes. This little trickster shows up. That's okay. I the reason I did that was you might have already solved it, but not just getting her in the cell and now she's trapped there for the rest of the movie.
Sure.
Giving her some time in this world before she gets there, and then.
Well, right. We have to see that Belle likes books and she doesn't like this type of stuff.
Right.
I get that. I think showing Rumpelstiltskin earlier. What do you think about putting this on her dad?
That he's the one who
and maybe making her dad the braggadocious itinerant gambler.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a little too. That is also a little too salacious.
This is what I was getting to. Is she makes the deal with Rumpelstiltskin to start, and he gets her some gold coins. So then she gives them to her father, and he's like, "Where did you get these?" And she's like, "I made it out of straw." So then when he goes and brags about it, she's already done it. And now he's not straight up lying about his daughter.
That's not bad.
He thinks she already can do it because she, trying to rescue him, made a bad deal.
Okay. That pitches it pretty well. I'm going to offer my version, but that's still pretty good.
Go ahead.
It's actually her father who makes bets with Rumpelstiltskin. Right. That essentially turning Rumpelstiltskin, he is the embodiment of gambling, of this habit of gambling, and so Rumpelstiltskin is actually connected to him, and he's aware of the girl, but it's basically Rumpelstiltskin almost tricks the dad, or it's a bet or something, gets him to brag that he has this gold. Where did you? The
miller,
where
the hell did you get that?
Who like the miller who's not even good at it. Like you have debts everywhere. Where did you get gold?
Yeah,
so it was spun from hay because I have a lot of that because I'm straw because I'm the miller.
I got grain and wheat and corn coming out my ears.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, then you can make more. Well, it's not me. It's my daughter.
She did.
My daughter's the one who did it. So I don't know. I don't actually know how it's done. Your daughter did it.
My father's lying.
You're coming with us.
No, my father lied. I've never done that in my life.
No one believes any words women say.
Especially
you are now in the dungeon.
Oh no!
No, it doesn't have to be that. But the idea of saying it's him, and then so Rumpelstiltskin sees this trouble happen, is tickled by it because that's how he is, and doesn't immediately attach himself to the daughter, but like sees that happen, and he is a supernatural creature. So when she goes and prays for help, that's when he shows up, and the father can even be like, oh, what have I done? This can be sort of his sort of side plot. What have I done? I put my magic little man on my daughter.
Oh God.
Oh God, that sounds really terrible. But in addition to that, what do you think about the idea of when she calls out, Rumpelstiltskin isn't the only one who replies. He was just the first. So like an actual blue fairy
sure.
tries to show up, and Rumpelstiltskin flicks her out of the way. And so she keeps trying to get in to help the miller's daughter.
I like this as
and
a second.
Rumpelstiltskin keeps kicking her out of the way.
Especially if we're looking at more classic Disney's having some sort of Deus Ex Machina available to us in some capacity or another, I like the idea of her calling out, Rumpelstiltskin showing up, but then like a good fairy showing up, and now you have like an angel and devil, and Rumpelstiltskin is just much more. He's got more charisma. He's got much more power over this angel, and he's flicking it away to the point where the girl, I'm going to side with this guy, and our little fairy character is now could be attached to our B plot to try to help to investigate. There's something there. Having a second thing show up that's good that doesn't get to help because Rumpelstiltskin got there first.
Yeah.
That's fun because that adds another character to this ensemble. It feels like it fits in nicely to have another like a good fairy and a bad little goblin man. I'm not entirely sold on the dad being the one who evokes Rumpelstiltskin. I'm still gonna fight for him screwing up and the girl trying to just be the one who saves her dad and makes bad deals that lead up to I got straw into gold. Oops, my dad bragged. Oops, now I'm locked up. Like it puts it all on her, as opposed to there's a problem with Aurora. Sleeping Beauty is a fantastic movie. She's not the main character. Philip is. In fact, that's not even true. The fairies are. And Aurora has 16 lines in the whole movie. She is a very small part of Sleeping Beauty. And I want to empower our princess here, the Miller's daughter, to have the story rested on her shoulders, as opposed to being the like suffering the consequences of her father getting the action going. You see what I mean?
I do, and I understand. Right? It's the notion of character agency and primarchy. That I don't think that's the right word. Primacy. I don't know. I just don't think it matches up with the Disney model.
Primacy is correct. By
Primacy. Okay. Thank you.
Of a traditional Disney, you are correct. It does seem. I don't know if that's entirely true because there's only 3 princesses through the eras. It's Snow White. She's the main character. Cinderella. She's the main character. I mean, Charming doesn't even have a name in that movie. And neither does the prince in Snow White. That's actually not. That's not even bothering.
I guess specifically what it is the princesses don't do. I'm sure at least one. Well, no, they do, but the princesses in general don't do a thing to get themselves in trouble.
Right.
They are put upon.
Right.
And that's what I'm trying to create here is that put uponness. And when they aren't, as far as I can remember, the ones that aren't put upon, usually what they're doing is they're not doing something that is a character flaw. They're actually trying to expand beyond. Actually, are they all trying to expand beyond their put uponness? I think they are.
This is a thing. The difference between classic Disney and I'm going to create a thesis here that I may have shared this with you before, but this might help us. And I think we can. This is funny. We can let's set Act 1 aside and then get into. I think or Act 2 is pretty good, where it's like hanging out with the prince and getting to know him,
getting deeper and deeper in with Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah. It's funny. We could let me talk for a moment about classic Disney versus modern Disney. Classic Disney protagonists, Snow White up through like nearly to Little Mermaid era, somewhere around there, the main character isn't going to change. Is going to change. There's something about their circumstances that it's gonna make them better. They will change as a person. They will grow and evolve. They will learn a lesson and they will change. The modern Disney protagonist is okay who they are, and the world needs to accept them for who they are. This is a generality, but when I can kind of divide Disney up into a classic storytelling device versus a more modern storytelling device, which is you are okay who you are and the world will accept that. They'll figure it out or they'll get out of the way and you be you.
Yeah.
And that's a good lesson of the modern storytelling element. The classic storytelling element is much more learn a lesson and change happily ever after. There's less nuance in classic storytelling. Does that make sense? Like
sure.
Like oh, I am this way, and now I'm this way, and everything's better, and everything. I am now a princess. And again, these are general terms because I could find exceptions to everything I'm saying through both eras. But it seems to me the more modern look of the protagonist is the modern look at the protagonist is the world will figure you out, and you just stay who you are, and then it'll be okay. So our princess being put upon and having to go through all these trials and tribulations, a more classic way to do that would be, let's have the dad be responsible for this. A more modern version of it is, I don't know if I'm rambling this thesis right now.
No, I kind of understand what you're saying. I don't know that I fully agree. I think I have a problem with in the first 10, 15 minutes, because we'd have to get to it pretty fast.
Right.
In the establishing of this character,
right.
She makes a deal with a seemingly supernatural character.
Right. You're right. Like we are writing a movie that's probably about 100 minutes long. You are correct. We shouldn't. I'm probably, in our adaptation, when we do the modern version, all the room in the world for me to do this. For this version, I think you actually probably are correct to get to the point sooner.
Also, I feel like there's lessons for the audience of for who the audience is supposed to be for a princess story, little girls. I think that it is easier for them to understand the notion of my parent. I have to deal with my parents' foibles.
Yes.
Rather than I've made a deal with a stranger. Now I got to figure it out.
In the classic princesses I love most, when you look at Belle, she's just trying to help her dad out.
Yeah.
And when you look at Ariel, she screwed this up, not her dad.
Sure.
Split hairs, but yeah,
sure.
I'm on board with what you're saying.
But it's that's why I go back to the notion of they're when they push for that agency, when they make that move, they're the way they're put upon is different each time. Snow White is chased away.
Right.
Cinderella is forced to work.
Right.
Ariel is. She's a teenager. She's forced to be a teenager. No, she's forced into a way of life she doesn't want. She pursues love.
A little rebel.
Kind of, yeah. Belle, her character flaw, the way she stands out, is for her society a problem, but for the audience's society, being someone who likes learning and reading and being smart, that is a character feature. Yeah. So that's my concern about that. If you wanted to start Rumpelstiltskin with her, I would want it to start as a trick.
Yes.
Yes. It would be he shows up only to be helpful. And it's not until she has agreed to a thing she shouldn't have, a la Ariel.
Yes.
That I would want to do otherwise, but we're having to get there so dang fast.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel as magical to me.
I'm more on board with what your pitch is.
Yeah. Also, just that notion of him representing the idea of gambling and stuff, and that idea of generational addiction and trauma can be played in this story in interesting ways. Also, the whole notion of turning straw into gold is this lie, but we can also play with her. This actually doesn't necessarily preclude or exclude or be exclusive from what we're currently talking about, but I love the notion that another thing we play up through this whole story is her constantly metaphorically spinning straw into gold. Like, well, I got to make the best of my situation.
Yeah. I like this, and I think that yes, you are right. That's a character trait of hers. She can spin straw. She can spin anything into gold. And figuratively,
if her dad, I see. So if her dad has Rumpelstiltskin, technically, why can't he make all these wonderful things? Because he's not good at it. He loses bets.
Right.
He loses bets with a magical little man.
He's a bad gambler, and she's great. And
she's a great gambler.
She's a great gambler. Lesson learned. Having him make the deal, even if she witnesses the aftermath of it, part of the deal is, I'll do this for you. You cannot tell anyone where I got this. You cannot tell anyone. That's the deal. And
sure.
The consequence. So you need to, whatever you have to say to stop, so no one knows that I'm the one who did it. Then when the father has the gold or whatever to pay his debts, he could admit, my daughter spun it out of hay, like straw. Some seed planted that allowed him to come up with that insane thing. Even if Rumpelstiltskin says, say you milked it from a cow, say you climbed a beanstalk, got from a giant, say your daughter spun it out of hay. I don't care. You do not say anything about me. That's the deal. So that when the dad is cornered,
that could be the original thing. If I don't know how. What if it starts with his dad first makes the deal, hey, spin this straw into gold.
Her dad makes the deal, yeah.
Her dad makes the deal with Rumpelstiltskin. Hey, I want to spin this straw into gold. And Rumpelstiltskin, I don't know. No, I'm getting off the rails. Basically, I was thinking in the first part, she does it. She doesn't know how it works. She doesn't know why, but it's because her dad made a deal with Rumpelstiltskin already.
So it looks like she actually did it.
Yeah. So as far as she knows, she does do it.
Did I just do this?
So that way when she's in the dungeon, she tries and it isn't happening.
Working, yeah.
So then when Rumpelstiltskin says, "Oh, I can make that happen." I did the first time.
Yeah, it was you? Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Me and your dad go way back.
What? God, Dad. Father. Sorry, she wouldn't call him Dad. Father.
Father. Papa.
Getting him in to start wheeling and dealing here, to be like, hey, you called to me. The sun's about to rise. Let's make a deal. Shake. Like every time he extends his hand, we get to like animated in such a way where it's the same sort of like dun 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 dun. The bad music plays and she has no choice to start making deals with this guy. And then maybe this is how we enact our B plot is, how did you do it, honey? Daughter, how did you do this? Father, I made a deal with a little man who says he knows you. No. But he said when that initial thing of what's your name, like, no. That's not the game we're playing. He evoking that early. Maybe it's the father then, as you might have suggested earlier. I can't remember if you did or not, that he's the one who starts trying to collect the stories to figure out what this thing's name is.
Sure.
Our wacky little dad character being helped by a good fairy. There's our B plot.
Right, because the fairy gets blocked by Rumpelstiltskin, so because she can't get in there, and the dad's all like, "Oh, what do I do?" They go, "Hey, we need to team up."
Oh God! To go into a classic Disney Disney place here. If she becomes full-sized woman, he might have a wife by the end of this.
Maybe.
You gotta love for a Disney movie, Jim.
I loved Love by the Miller's daughter marrying the prince.
Yeah, well, Dad gets some too. He's gonna marry a fairy. No, we don't have to do that. So then her starting to make deals and now being courted by the prince, succeeding at making the straw into gold every night, having to bargain with more and more stuff with Rumpelstiltskin. We are going to reach that turning point of, you've run out of bargaining chips, little girl. I'll give you the last deal I can make. I want your firstborn child. What? I will spin this last bit of straw. And like, he makes the deal.
Even through the whole thing, he can be because he's playing her magical sidekick the whole time. He's fostering the relationship.
Oh yeah, he's a sweet little. He's a goofy little man
between him and the prince.
Yeah,
or her and the prince.
He's helping her out
because we don't necessarily have to go this deep. It could go this deep in the live action remake, or even once we get into the 90s when we finally make a sequel, a straight to VHS sequel.
Okay, what is it?
He wanted the baby specifically for political reasons. He wanted, because that baby would be royalty.
This baby's gonna be royalty, and if
don't do that. I did it first with Rumpelstiltskin.
He wants the baby to marry.
No, not to marry the baby. No, this isn't Twilight.
Okay, or Beetlejuice.
Or Beetlejuice. No, it's neither of them.
Okay, what do you mean?
Twilight.
What do you mean politically?
I'm nations, right? They're the king and queen of a country.
Right.
If Rumpelstiltskin takes the heir, that's a political pawn.
Okay. Well, whatever his reasoning for why,
I'm getting too far out.
That's the modern remake. Yeah. Okay. I want to take a break in a moment here. But here's what we've painted a pretty good story so far. The turning point here is that last bargain for the baby, and now when he shows up, what is the culmination of this? It can't just be she guesses his name and he explodes. We need a good finale here. We need to ramp this up. Maleficent versus Philip kind of thing.
Do you think it should be the last deal for the firstborn?
Yeah. What would be a better deal than that? Or a worse deal?
Well, what would you think about? It would take creativity on our parts as writers. A part of me likes the idea that Rumpelstiltskin, it's the first deal, the first one for spinning straw into gold, but he manages to word it in such an offhanded way that's, this is so far off and not a thing that'll ever really matter. And it's through the course of the movie that the Miller's daughter realizes what she bargained away at the beginning there.
Nah,
No?
I don't know. I think him's just being such a. I get what you're saying. If he's like kind of plucky off, kind of give me your kid. Like maybe I think we should build up to it so that he's been like whenever he strikes a bargain, he has a wink and a smile. But when he gets to that last bargain, boom, he's serious. And he's like, he's not, the smile is gone, the twinkle is gone in his eye. He's been working up to this. This has been his plan the whole time. This chip right here, this is the biggest trick of all, is to get that kid to control her. Like,
I guess I was thinking of it more like Ursula, where song and dance to make you think this isn't a big deal. Yes, sign on the dotted line. It's mine. Yeah. What are the kinds of what kind of side bet you want to make, huh?
Yeah.
Side action here. I got what I wanted, so I'll stick around to see what happens. I'm gonna wait for that baby.
I think certainly in his song, I would love this to be a musical. If his first song is sort of Dr. Facilier from The Princess and the Frog, where he's and Ursula, where they're like, Flotsam Jetsam, now I got her, boys. Like that sort of thing. Because I want to stay true to the tradition of Disney animated musicals. No one lies in song.
Yeah.
No one lies in song. So like Rumpelstiltskin laying it out to her, not the firstborn thing, but like laying all the track down to say, this is where this is going. And you're not paying attention because he should play a fiddle. Like real good fiddle music.
Okay, he can be the devil.
No, he's not a devil. He's a little imp. He's a little rascally devil. But the thing that we now have, like we built, like what's the finale on this? Is the prince get involved? Is this what's the throwdown? Like how does this end? And don't answer that right now because I want to throw this to a commercial.
Oh, okay.
Real quick. Let that ruminate, even if you have an idea right away. How does this culminate? Where does this go? We'll be back to find out in a minute after these quick messages from 6.5 Media. And we're back. Here we go. Miller's daughter.
So, I got a bunch of ideas.
Oh, I actually thought of something that she could bargain for that he takes in his slow bargaining of things.
Okay.
And I did it as a joke early on, but I think there might be something to it. The color of her hair, like whatever the color, like he actually takes the color of her hair away from her. Like I know that's a weird thing to think of, like to do, but sort of
doesn't it touch on Tangled a little too much?
Well, that's the thing that I'm sort of retroactively doing. Tangled does a really good job as the 50th animated movie of the library to very cutely and not in a obnoxious Wish kind of way pay homage to.
I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, I know everyone did. To pay homage to the 49 that came before with little tidbits. So having this placed in the pantheon so that she has her hair change and tangles, like, oh, it's like in Rumpelstiltskin.
I'm because of how much what we're building into this. I'm thinking less and less that this is a dark age, dark era movie. I think this is a Renaissance movie. I think this is a 90s movie.
Okay, the idea of fiddle music being played in this makes me happy. So,
again, whether it's the first deal or last, I still want it to be the first deal. It doesn't have to be, but here's what I'm thinking. Here's some other stuff that goes on throughout the movie, and whenever she leaves the dungeon, when she gets brought up,
the chambers. Don't call it a dungeon.
Like at the party, it's not that other people have their own little gamble demons. It's Rumpelstiltskin, who is also schmoozing at the party, and he is making deals.
Oh, yes.
And he is playing games with people.
Yes, I like
and
this.
He is gaining favors, winning debt from them.
Striking deals.
Yeah.
Constantly see that hand come out. Like a whole song and dance number about him, and every time his hand comes out, like a close-up of him, shake.
Even
shake.
having that be like this background through line while the miller's daughter and prince are dancing, and it's actually supposed to be their scene. In the background we see him talking to different people, and we see hands getting shaken and stuff like that. But we find out through this whole thing he's even making deals with the prince and the king and queen.
And
so I'm thinking like it's a chess game that he's basically lining up all these favors. So one of the things that always bothered me in Little Mermaid, I might be misremembering it, but and it probably makes more sense. She turns King Triton and a whole bunch of other people into the withered kelp things. They never signed a deal. She just forced it.
She got Triton's crown and
she got
Triton.
she got fashy with it, and she just started
once she had his magic, then she was able to do that to them. It wasn't like they signed any deals.
She could just oppress them.
Right.
I'm thinking a situation not too dissimilar from that, and maybe that's why it shouldn't be this era because then it's too close to Little Mermaid. But it's not that he can just start zapping people away. It's he's made deals, and they are not, because of how he is, they're not able to actually fulfill them, or they lost whatever game or bet that they've agreed to. And so they're under his guise, and so they are forced to do his bidding. And like the song and dance coming all the way back, and the reason he wants the firstborn, the reason he wants the royal firstborn. So in the end, like, she gets free, and she's like, oh, hooray! They've the king and queen are actually good people, and they've agreed to this.
And I'm getting married to the prince.
And it turns out, no, Rumpelstiltskin does. This is all by design. Finds out that the king and queen lost whatever agreement with him, so they have to let her out and have to let her get married and have to let them have a baby that he will then have. And so he'd have a song and dance about how they're gonna all tragically die. He is going to raise that child to be the most powerful king that ever was, that he will control.
This is a reprise of that first Deal song he makes, where he laid all the track. That's the reprisal of this song, is when he admits his big grand plan.
Sure. Yeah. There could even be a through line about it's all on you, baby.
Yeah. I want to I love.
Do you like this?
I really like this because it leads up to this big climactic.
So because that's the first deal, it's not the last one where she was like, if I only just didn't agree to that last thing. If it was this whole time, this has been the plan the whole time. He's laid this from the beginning. I didn't even know what I was signing away that very first night. And it all comes around. And there, as he's calling in all the chips, and it's all coming together in this magical way. That's when her dad and the blue fairy come in, and there could even be a whole his name is a thing slaps over them doing all this, and eventually they get up to her, they whisper in her ear, and she's your name is Rumpelstiltskin, and a record scratch.
What did you just say?
Rumpelstiltskin. That's your name. Even have that be. That was just a fun, playful game that was just a throwaway when they first met, because it was oh, hello, what's your name? Oh, I'll give you the kingdom if you can guess my name.
Yeah, I love that. Because then he throws it away.
He overestimates himself even. And she says, "You agreed. If I guessed your name, you'd give me the kingdom."
Yep.
And then he's like, "No,
what? That's not. Wait a minute." I want to add to this. Do you still have steam?
No. I think so. That's why I want the dominoes to fall.
Yes.
Those ways.
So it should be the second deal. She gives up her necklace the first time, and then it's the second deal. And he's like, a necklace. He does the favor. Second one, hey, your firstborn. Whatever. What? Yeah. Come on. It's just like the necklace. Just throw it away.
It's deals. It's deals. We make one after another. Yeah. You can get it back later with another deal, and then we have a song about deals.
Yeah. The first deal made, whether Rumpelstiltskin realizes or not, is like, if you guess my name, I'll give you the kingdom. We'll find a deft way of having that happen. Deal number 2 is the necklace. Deal number 3 is the baby, and then so on and so forth. To empower her, to give her a little more, and perhaps help her father a little bit in trying to collect stories and learn about this, and because he's a bad gambler, and she has access to helping him fulfill debts. This might be too much, but she starts making deals to help other people in the kingdom. And other, like, listen, I found a farmer who knows a thing, but his plow is broken, and he said if I could help him fix it, he'd tell me the story. Hey, little man, little goblin man, if you make a farmer's plow, I will give you this. Like, she's negotiating things so that she basically builds a network of heroes that help her, not to fight or anything, but just that she gets all these people in her good graces because she also she is good at gambling. She knows how to
she knows how to make deals.
Right. So I'm just a few, maybe it's just three occasions.
I love it because it plays into the whole turning straw and
that's what I was
metaphor.
Going for. She knows how to spin anything into gold because she is a good person and she is there to help people and do the good things.
That's the contrast. He is working people to get one over on them,
just swindling one person after another,
to take from them, and she's making deals so that everyone can win.
You know, and this might be a hard listen, Jim.
Yeah, I'm listening.
This might be tough for some people to understand, but there is such a thing as everybody winning. Right? You don't have to make deals where one person wins and everyone loses. That's a fallacy.
Is it?
And maybe little Rumpelstiltskin should learn that. But yeah, you like the idea of her. She's a good person, so she helps people in the castle. She helps people around the kingdom with.
So then basically what it is with every night that she returns with gold, and then making every time she gets a little more space to do so, she meets more people and makes more deals, and so she can even spend the entire day out in the world, but she's followed by guards,
right,
which are very close at first, but she's so nice and she makes deals, and she always comes back to the dungeon, her chamber.
Don't call it a dungeon. It makes us sound like monsters.
Please put the shackles on.
The bracelets. Put the bracelets on.
Maybe this should just be a modern one. Like I know the whole point was to put in past so that we could make a modern live action.
Hey, Moana came out in 2016. We got a live action one coming out this year. So, what do we know?
I only say that because I feel like the jokes we're making are more modern sensibility.
This is for gags. We're doing this for.
This is going in the script. I think we have a really strong movie here, and I think it could be set anywhere from the
classic era,
early '80s.
Through Renaissance, through modern day. Yeah, I guess there's no definitive placement of where this needs to go. I know the demand says put it somewhere in the pantheon.
Well, I guess actually no. It is the Renaissance or sooner, because do villains get songs?
Oh yeah, dude, of course. Jafar,
Ursula, earlier than that. Sorry.
I would say that Ratigan is the origin of the villain song, and that's in The Great Mouse Detective. Bette Midler has a great villain song in a rather mediocre Oliver and Company. I think the villain song started with Ratigan, and it wasn't until Ursula's Poor Unfortunate Souls that the bangers began. So
it'd basically have to be sometime from in there, because Rumpelstiltskin is going to sing.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed. Little turn of a little tweak here.
Yeah.
Once all is said and done and she's freed, are we going to do that jump in time to her being pregnant? I think that's what the story asks for, but we don't necessarily have to do it.
I think in Rumpelstiltskin's in his call, that third act, he's about to win kind of thing. He's conjuring every magic whatever was. We're seeing time is flashing forward, right? So the king and queen grow very decrepit and old while standing there, and the prince and the miller's daughter, they her clothes actually which would be nice by this point in the movie, might actually be very nice, but they like pop into royal garb, and her and the prince are standing right next to each other, and just she becomes pregnant in that right, because he wants all of this now.
I want it now.
Yeah, he wants it now, and so he's making it all happen. And she doesn't give birth there.
No.
But she gets the name out right before.
Yeah.
All the magic undoes. But the whole idea is they've gotten a glimpse of what the future is going to be like. So we kind of saw what the prince and the soon-to-be princess will be like in a few years.
Right.
So we don't have to jump to seeing the baby. We could. I don't think I would mind, but I don't think we have to go there. Do you want to go there?
You've painted a beautiful picture of once all like the deal is made and the I do's are made, like the wedding happens and I do, and it's like, I now pronounce you prince and princess. The door is open and they're like, I've come to collect. Dun, 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 and then he just starts swirling and the animation just becomes this torrent of him cashing in everything all at once. And
guards come forward to stop him, and like his magic goes to them, and like one guy all of his armor and weapons just pop into a barrel he's wearing,
and the other one goes bald. It's similar to the things are really unraveling now.
It's
from Jafar, when Jafar is like,
absolutely. We're basically taking bits from all the Disney movies we love and we're putting them all in here. That's okay.
Hey, steal from the best.
Yep.
Homage the best, I guess.
Yep. No, actually, I'm really excited about this movie now.
And then she gets his name and is like, what? Yeah. Oh, I guess that's the final question. Then is how do they
figure it out?
Yeah.
So if we want to make it, her dad, her father, and the good fairy, do we want to make it that it's not really a Deus Ex Machina if we are cutting to them and watching them go on this investigative adventure? Yeah. Is that what you want to do? Here's my thought for that. So we follow them. We go to this plot B of these two doing this, and they're going to other villages, and like it could even get bigger as they go, right? Like they go to this other village that, oh my God, what happened here? It looks like a whirlwind came through here. Yeah. No, it was Mr. Skin.
Or the little man, like Puck. Like,
no. The reason is basically each place he goes, he used a portion of his name.
Okay. Now in the original fairy tale, the queen sends, how does she figure this out? Someone hears Rumpelstiltskin say his name and comes back and tells her. I think that's how it happens in the original version.
Great, we're doing a version of that.
Yeah, having pieces of his name throughout, not bad. I don't mind that.
Mr. Rumple, Mr. Stilts, Mr. Skin.
And then it's like, well, what order did he destroy the world in? Rumpelstiltskin.
Sure.
I think that's his name.
But right, it goes from they find this village and it's been hit by a whirlwind. Yeah. They go to a city and it's destitute. They reach the border of this whole other land and it is just desiccated and decayed and destroyed.
Yeah.
And each one, it was a man who promised plenty. Yeah. And gave none. And he went by Rumple. He went by Stilts.
And Skin. Stilts. Yeah, that's not bad. I like that. It's simple enough while still being, piece it together. Uses the rule of three really nicely. Gets the father back in time. Maybe even if it's a matter of like, why isn't my father here to walk me down the aisle, kind of thing. It's like I wish. It's okay. He's gone. He for whatever reason she thinks he's abandoned her. So that when he runs in, he's like, daughter, father, and then in the whirlwind he comes and he's like, his name is, no one asked you, pops, boom.
Maybe even better, they show up, and so then maybe we could even like the prince has. They all know. Maybe none of them actually put it together. It's her. Yeah. So they say, you're Mr. Rumple, because he's made this deal offhanded with so many people because he's like, no, that's not my name.
That's not my name. Nice try. Stilts. Stilts.
Mr. Stilts. No. It's
not again.
And it's her watching all of these people fail and hearing all of these names.
Skin,
and then she's
his name is Mr. Skin.
Rumpelstiltskin. And that's when, what? Rumpelstiltskin. Your name is Rumpelstiltskin.
And again, to do all the work, to make sure we do the work well, in that first encounter with him, knowing that he likes to like put stuff together, like his wordplay, how he makes deals, to see the link of everything, and that's what he has done. He's laying down track to like connect all the dots. mixed metaphor there. She puts it down and goes, Rumpelstiltskin. Boom, and then, and then in the story, he tears himself apart. Is he just going to pop out of existence here? No! And all of his deals end. The barrel goes away back to armor. The hair grows back on the guard. Everyone is free from his... Because you promised me if I guessed your name, you'd give me the kingdom. I want my kingdom. Give it to me. No! That goes with all its people. And then he's left with nothing.
Yes. Short answer, yes. I think we can tweak this. We can sweeten it. I'm wanting to find a way to do exactly what you said, where even he learns this lesson.
Yeah.
Because right now, it teaches him the lesson of there are winners and there are losers, and in this case, he is the loser. Yeah. We can stick with that. I think that's good enough. We can call it a day. But I think there could be a way we could end this where that's what it seems like, and that is enough. But our Miller's daughter is even better than that.
I like this because the thing we're risking, because I evoked Jafar's ending, it's a little similar where he gets tricked into being into the lamp and sent to the Cave of Wonders. We don't want something like that. So you're pitching that she doesn't destroy him in the end? Yeah. She's like...
I'm thinking...
I'm left with nothing. Well, let me make you a deal.
Either they had already made a deal, going all the way back even to that one, where like he says, if you can guess my name, I'll give you the kingdom, and she says, if you could do something like that, I would do this. Boom. Yeah. Either something like that. So then way he's like, no, I lost all this stuff, and she's like, yeah, but what about the other part? Yeah. Either that, or yes, she offers one last. Yeah. She offers this one last deal. I love that. It
gives her goodness, and it doesn't mean we have to kill the villain. We just have to teach him a lesson, kind of thing. Even though he's a little monster man, to have him sitting there and going, I've lost everything. I have nothing now. Blink, blink. Like the string breaks on his fiddle. He's like, ah. And she's like, then let me make one more deal with you. And shakes her and extends her hand to him. So then we get an epilogue of the happily ever after. And if we can find something, we don't necessarily have to decide now, what would genuinely make this guy happy? He wants everything, but maybe there's a way for him to have it all without having it all, kind of thing. Like, what's a way to keep this little goblin in check who has immense power? We don't have to hate. We don't have to be enemies. We can be friends, kind of thing.
I don't know right now.
Yeah, I don't have anything up that's flying off the top of my head either. But this is great. This is fun. Like, you're right. This could just as easily be a brand new one. But I like this. I'm going to say this. If this makes it to the finale, listeners, it will be a musical. We will do the music.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yep, I'm saying it now on the record. If this makes it to the finale, we will do the music. We will sing. This will be
You keep putting so many things on the record.
I am putting it on the record, Jim, for our listeners, for the show. D, thank you for that. But
we're not done.
We're not done there. And now we don't have to spend too much time on this.
No, it's like this. So everything we just said that we animated, we're now going to do it live action.
You're welcome. Money, 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 money. Yeah, but they won't pay us. Because we only wrote the animated one. Crap. There you go. Did you have that pocketed?
I didn't.
I think in looking at the modern versions, and D was not wrong. 25 on the books of Disney. Now some of them are like there's 2 Alice in Wonderlands, but there's the sequel to the one. The first one was the animated, like a rough sequel to the animated one, and the second one is a sequel to that sequel. But for the most part, Cinderella, Maleficent is the alternate version of Sleeping Beauty. Aladdin was a 1-for-1. Lion King, Jungle Book, 1-for-1s. But then Lion King has the Mufasa movie that just came out. That counts within those 25.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So to do a live action version of this, I looked at something like Sleeping Beauty. For the record, I am not a fan of the live action Disney movies. Another thing I'm putting on the record.
I think I've only seen Sorcerer's Apprentice and Aladdin.
Yeah, we saw Aladdin together just before the pandemic.
I don't think I've seen any of the others.
Okay. On one hand, I don't like them. On the other hand, theater, community theater, high school theater, college theater, Broadway, like time and time and time again,
They do the same plays.
They do the same plays over and over and over again. So I can crow all I want about like they're such a devoid of creativity that they're just cashing in on the name recognition.
Well, and it's like we point at Disney for doing this because they're such huge classics, but technically that's franchises. We've been watching franchises do it for 25 years. Transformers by Michael Bay is just an animated
version of the cartoon
made live action.
Snow White has been adapted about 25 times through cinema's history. It started as a book. It became a live action silent film, so on and so forth. So adaptation, so on and so forth. I can complain about it all I want, but here's what's going to happen. I think I made this prediction to you. I don't know if I've done it on the air. This is what Disney's going to do, everybody. We were here in this kitchen. In
this kitchen. You can say it. We're in a kitchen.
The kitchen's over there. We're in the dining room. We were in this space, and I said this to someone. I swear you were here for it. This is what Disney's going to do. Once they run this well dry, they are going to. This is my prediction. They're going to take the classics. They're going to take Lion King again. Take the original audio of Lion King's animated movie, remaster it so it's nice and clean, and reanimate it with whatever the current version of animation is. So, for example, Ocarina of Time using the Unreal Engine now looks awesome, but it's still Ocarina of Time just with a new skin on it. When people take the Unreal Engine and redo classic games, imagine taking Cinderella exactly as it is and just reanimating it with the Frozen animation. That's what Disney's going to end up doing. That's my guess. That sounds insane.
I don't think they're going to keep anything from the original, other than like the script. I think they're going to reanimate and
revoice it. No,
yeah, I think they're going to revoice it.
That's what they're doing now. I'm saying once that well runs dry, they're just going to. But actually, don't do that. Were we to do a live action version of this, I looked to Beauty and the Beast, which expanded upon the history of Belle's mother, who is a not even an entity in the animated movie.
Nor ours. Belle's mother is not in our movie either.
She's not in this Rumpelstiltskin movie?
No.
No, we'll see what the fans are going to do.
They want that crossover.
They're going to make fan canon. They're like, did you know the Miller's daughter from... Because the movie takes place in France, it's actually Belle's mom.
Oh,
yeah, because the castle, if you look at the castle, looks a little familiar, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Okay.
It's like the boat that Ariel's in the Caribbean is Tarzan's parents' boat. No, sorry. Frozen's parents' boat. And Elsa and Anna's mom and dad made it to Africa and had a baby Tarzan. That's what people think.
Ariel's not in the Caribbean. She is in the live action.
The animated one.
Not in the animated one.
Yeah. Do you think Sebastian the Crab chose that music because he just likes it?
I believe the culture of Atlantis is across the world.
That is not Atlantis. That's Triton's kingdom.
Yeah. The kingdom of underwater.
Under the sea.
Yeah. Which sea?
The Caribbean.
I'm pretty sure that's the Mediterranean.
In our live action,
in the live action one, it's the Caribbean.
What are we going to call this movie? Are we going to call it Rumpelstiltskin?
Yeah.
I mean, why not, right? Yeah. Okay. Even though it's not a princess's name. Oh, it would sell better because it's not a princess's name.
Yeah.
We don't want to call it Princess Miller's daughter.
No.
It's a really strange. That is the poor interpreted translated version of the title in some like bootleg Hong Kong knockoff DVD.
Yeah.
It says Princess Miller's daughter. In the live action, we could expand more on what's her mother. Maybe I'm trying to think of some other things that could be expanded upon in the live action. The prince gets a song.
Apparently, my favorite side plot, the politics of the kingdom and the bordering kingdoms.
Yeah,
which for the little of the live action I've seen does play into it. Jasmine wanted to represent her kingdom.
Yes.
They didn't talk too much about the other kingdoms, but the whole point was to rise to political power.
Yes.
Precedent.
Okay, and then there's your live action one. Is that are we cheating our demander out of this? Then make your own live action adaptation for a modern audience. Yeah, I just because Disney does it, just one for one it as much as possible.
So if anything, what we didn't follow was we didn't definitively put it in a past age to then make a more modern contemporary version.
Well, you actually placed it by saying
initially
because the villain has a song, it needs to go between Great Mouse Detective and hold on a minute.
And now.
No.
They don't have villains now. They don't have proper villains, so it has
really.
to be before.
Mother Gothel has a villain song, Listen to Your Mother, so that's number 50. Dr. Facilier has one, that's 47. Yeah, so between Great Mouse Detective and from after Great Mouse Detective forward, you could place it anywhere in there.
It's a pretty big swath.
Yeah. Okay, and then so a live action adaptation of that would just be recasting it with people who look as close as possible to the actors, I guess. Where does Rumpelstiltskin take place? Because it was a Brothers Grimm story.
In the very specific location of Europe.
Classic. Like German, probably. Right?
Yeah, I think so. Because Germany had a lot of those stories about.
It's a European folklore,
trickster guys.
Yeah, so I think sort of a ubiquitous European look, but I think more German or Dutch, like somewhere in there. You know what? It's Dutch because our Mother Goose cinematic universe started with Rip Van Winkle, and that's Dutch too. Yeah. So
it's a German folktale.
Okay.
So it's assumed to be set in Germany, specifically within the King's Castle.
I have some fun little factoid here about Rumpelstiltskin. In British versions of the folklore story, Rumpelstiltskin is known as Terry Top, Tom Tit Tot, and Wumpity Snoony. Stoony. Wumpity Stoony. Maybe we could sneak some of those names.
Those would be what she guesses throughout the movie.
Tip Tap Top. Nice try.
Close, but not at all.
Wumpity Stupidity. Yeah, I know that guy. He owes me a favor.
Or those would be names of other beings he has in his bragging, in Rumpelstiltskin's bragging about how powerful he is and stuff he's done. Those are other ones. I like this. I like it as guesses at his name throughout the movie.
Yeah, I think I have a guess. You're not gonna get away with this, Wumpity Stoopy. What?
That's your name, Wumpity Stoopy.
Actually, it's funny. Every time she tries to do it, he goes, "What? What did you say?" kind of incredulously. So then when she does say Rumpelstiltskin, he goes, "What? What did you say?" He says it again.
Sure, yeah.
Call back.
Nice.
All right, what was it? D Bird Washington. How did we do? We want to know.
Tin Cup Studios.
Tin Cup Studios, yes. So I think we're going to call it here. Did we meet your demand today? You got to hit us up if you agree or disagree. If you think we missed anything, please let us know. And you can message us directly over at studiodemandsit.com or on Instagram at studiodemandsit. You can find the post for this episode and hit the conversation there if you want. If you're not already, you can subscribe to us on wherever you're listening to this. And if you feel like giving us a little review, you can throw it in your podcast app and then just give us a 5-star review and it helps out in the algorithm, please. Shake on it. You can find us on YouTube and TikTok where we post video content, including material not heard here on the show. Jim, where can people find us elsewhere?
We're still on Discord. Go to our website, studiodemands.com, and there's a link at the top of the webpage. Join the Discord server.
Join it.
Also, you can come on Reddit. r/StudiODemandsIt.
Demands it.
And join the conversation there.
Join the conversation.
Yep.
Those
are the ones.
Hype Man's fun.
Yeah, right? Isn't it? Doing echoes is great.
Massive thank you to 6.5 Media for everything they do for us. Please check out the other 6.5 shows. Another Zelda podcast, an artificial podcast, a lot of great stuff. If you want more, we have a Patreon. And for a couple bucks a month, you can get episodes early, commercial-free, extended double-length episodes. Before this, we did a nice half-hour conversation about where franchises and IPs seem to be going, at least our uneducated, unqualified opinion. I don't know. Moving to some bonus territory here, we're going to do a horror fairy tale movie in the bonus section here momentarily. Yep. And also, if you subscribe, you can get movie commentary tracks, which come with bonus episodes. That the movie commentary tracks aren't just a commentary to listen to us talk through a movie. We also do bonus episodes that are time-stamped. If you go check those out, you can also just subscribe for free. Jim, anything else?
Yeah, well, not quite. I'm trying to cast Rumpelstiltskin in the live-action version.
modern day.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm either casting, frankly, too old, or like too young or off. Type.
Yeah. All right. John Lithgow. It could be John Lithgow.
No, I think. To that end, the place.
What do you mean it can't be me? I make a perfect Rumpelstiltskin. That's not a very good John Lithgow. I'm working on it.
I heard it though. I heard it in there. Crap! I just lost his name. Mr. Bean.
Oh, Rowan Atkinson.
Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah. Zach Galifianakis voiced him in Puss in Boots.
Zach Galifianakis voiced Rowan
Sorry,
Atkinson?
That is not true. Humpty Dumpty was the villain in Puss in Boots. Someone heard me say that at the beginning of this episode and was like, wrong!
Oh.
Zach Galifianakis says Humpty Dumpty is the villain in Puss in Boots. Rumpelstiltskin is, I think, Martin Short and the villain of Shrek Forever After.
Oh, okay.
Sorry I messed that up for all you Shrek fans.
Don't say it derisively. They're entitled to their green ogre. Those movies are beloved.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know why I gotta be such a butt about it, but
that's some Marvel versus DC territory right there.
Also, it's not even Martin Short. I don't know why I thought it was
wrong.
It seemed like that's a great voice for Rumpelstiltskin, but it's someone named Walt Dorn is Rumpelstiltskin. Anyhow, can you think of any?
Oh,
yeah.
I
killed enough time. Now you got it.
David.
Eugene Levy's son?
Yes. David Levy. David Levy is Rumpelstiltskin in the live-action version.
Oh my God. Daniel Levy.
Daniel Levy. David is his character.
That's actually kind of funny. That's not bad.
Like, I keep imagining the animated version as like he's dressed like a jester. Like imagine a green version of the Noid, if you can remember what the Noid looks like. Granted, that looks a lot like the fairy from Zelda. What's that? Hey,
Tingle.
Yeah.
Oh no, Navi's the fairy.
Tingle
is the
Tingle.
The guy who's in the woods.
Yeah, that guy. So imagine a cross between Tingle and the Noid is how I imagine Rumpelstiltskin being animated. In his most common form, obviously he can transform into other outfits and looks and things because he is magical, not unlike the genie.
Yes, and another thing it does in classic, the best Disney villain fashion. I mean this with all the love in the world. It's gay coded.
Oh,
no, I mean that. I mean that as a very, very positive thing. Yes, Dan Levy, man, you're in, buddy. We're calling you in. We're not
like I can because he would like the animated movie. Rumpelstiltskin would be animated in this very, very sinister. At the end, what did you say?
Yes.
As he's calling in all his chips and all that. But I can see in the live action version where it's Daniel Levy, it's more just like a record scratch. And he just turns and goes, "What?
Yeah.
What did you say?"
I can. Yeah, David's incredulity that he has so well in Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
Well, then in that case, Annie. Oh my God.
We're just gonna cast all of Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
In our live action Rumpelstiltskin.
Annie Murphy is the miller's daughter. Yeah.
Sure.
Catherine O'Hara is the queen.
No,
Eugene Levy is the king.
She has to be younger. I'm gonna say, granted, they're getting older at this point. The red-haired girl from Stranger Things.
Oh, Sadie Silk.
Yeah, Sadie Silk. I choose Sadie Silk as the miller's daughter.
Yeah, rumor has it she's gonna be Mary Jane.
Rumor.
Anyway. Another fun thing we get to decide if we decide to develop this any further is what this princess's name is. We know her last name is Miller, but we'll figure out what this princess is, and people can be all mad because she's not really a princess. She becomes one at the end. In fact, she becomes queen.
Jane.
Jane
Miller.
Jane Miller. We already have a Jane.
Do we?
Tarzan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is she a princess?
She's Belle's daughter.
That timeline doesn't work.
Yeah, she has the Mrs. Potts tea set. Yeah.
Maybe
granddaughter.
Timeline. It has
They're
to be.
related.
It's further.
They're related. Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back again to improve the world in cinema and challenge ourselves to screenwrite something fun and cool based on one of your demands. That's an outro. I'm TC. That's Jim. That's all.
Didn't Miss Potts turn back into a woman?
Oh, my God. That poor woman. They turned her back into a pot.